Hello and welcome to Unacademy, a one-stop destination for the English medium civil services aspirants. Only 42 of the 1016 selected candidates were from Hindi medium. UPSC results 2023. Less than 5% of the IAS IFS officers take the civil services exam in Hindi medium. A simple Google search on this topic would convince you that the Hindi medium civil services aspirants are at a disadvantage and the English medium civil services aspirants are at an advantage. And if you are an English medium civil services aspirant, you have won half the battle. Now, I'm not here to demean the Hindi medium civil services aspirants, not their fault. The fault does not lie in their stars either. The buck stops at their teachers. In this video, I want to focus on you, the English medium civil services aspirants. Why do English medium civil services aspirants crack the world's toughest exam called the civil services examination in large numbers? I will share 5 important reasons. But before I do that, an important announcement. If your target is CSE 2025 and if you're preparing in English medium, then this is your last chance to enroll in our Liberty batch, which starts on the August 29th. And if you wish to enroll in this batch, please do that before 29th of August, because that's how you will then be able to complete comprehensively the CSE syllabus well ahead of your exam in 2025. And if you will use IAS English as a code, then you will get 12 months subscription at less than 25,000 plus 3 months free extension as well. But those who will enroll in this program for 2 years or 3 years, they will get 6 months of free extension. But should you wish to enroll in these programs, please do that before the 29th of August, because that's how you can complete your syllabus well ahead of your time. Let's look at the 5 reasons why English medium civil services aspirants crack the exam in large numbers. The reason number 1, an English medium civil services aspirant, once you decide that you want to prepare for this exam and crack this exam, then you will not search for external motivation, which means you will not waste your time by going through Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, watching unlimited motivational lectures on YouTube, focusing on Sher-o Shairi. You will focus on the syllabus. You will focus on completing the syllabus on time. You will not be wasting your time, unlike others, on irrelevant stuff on social media. This is the biggest reason. Because English medium civil services aspirants, they are quite often than not self-motivated and well directed towards their goal of cracking the exam. Reason number 2, quality of teachers and their hard work. Listen to me carefully. I was talking to a very popular teacher who would teach the Hindi medium civil services aspirants. And this conversation happened 6 or 7 months ago. And for every question that I asked him, the answer was the same. Blame the students. Sir, why does your polity teacher teach 200 hours to complete Indian polity? Sir, you know our students are from Hindi medium. They need to be spoon-fed. They need to be handheld. And ultimately, we have to give them a lot of content. Why are your teachers not updating their notes, linking it with current affairs, updating the previous year's question paper analysis as well, reading a lot of information, research articles? Sir, you know, the Hindi medium aspirants are like this. So for every single question that I asked him, the answer was the same, denigrating the Hindi medium students. But the point is, if as a teacher, you come up with this preconceived notion that my students are bad, my students are inferior, Hindi medium students are inferior, you will not be able to give the kind of quality lectures that is required to crack the exam. So the fault does not lie in the stars of the Hindi medium aspirants. The fault lies with the teachers who struggle to keep pace with the changing dynamics of this examination and are unable to provide exam-oriented lectures to their students. Hence, the student failure rate is highest. Reason number 2. Reason number 3, study material. NCERT books are in Hindi as well as English. Good quality. But what about other books? Most of the important books are predominantly written in English medium. Some of these books are translated into Hindi as well. But remember, they are translated. These books are translated, not written in Hindi. And lots of things get lost in the translation. If 9 out of 10 civil services successful candidates are from English medium, and if you have to understand their answer writing strategy, their answer writing techniques, or if you have to follow their notes, these answer writing copies will be predominantly in English medium. So where is the reference for a Hindi medium student to go through the previous year's question papers, to go through the answer copies of the toppers, to go through the notes of the toppers as well? This is reason number 3 why Hindi medium aspirants, they fail, unfortunately, miserably in the civil services exam, but not their fault. Reason number 4, current affairs. 2 of the most important newspapers that we recommend students to read for the civil services exam, the Hindu and the Indian Express, both are in English. If I am a teacher of polity, I have to go through the writings of Pratap Banu Mehta to understand important current affairs developments that take place. That is in English. I have to go through the writings of Mr. Gautam Bhatia, Mr. Suhrit Parthasarthi, and other important writers, intellectuals, thinkers. All of that is in English. A teacher of international relations would have to read Foreign Policy magazine in English, would have to go through the writings of Mr. C. Rajamohan in English. If you are a teacher teaching environment and ecology, an important climate summit takes place. The gist of that climate summit is in English. The researches that happen on various science and technology, all the important developments that take place on internal security, on disaster management, all that content is available in English. Yes, there are coaching institutes which also provide you the magazines, current affairs monthly magazines in Hindi, but that is translated, not written in Hindi. And again, a lot is lost in the translation. Not my words. Look at the report of an RSS-backed body which says that UPSC question paper gets lost in translation. Imagine if the UPSC question paper also has translation errors. Imagine the plight of the coaching institutes delivering content in Hindi. And that is why this body said 90% of the UPSC qualifiers are from English language backgrounds, which shows others are at a disadvantage. So important current affairs, magazines, newspapers, articles, research papers, they are mostly in English. That is why English medium aspirants are at an advantage, because their teachers also research a lot, consume this content in English, and are effectively delivering content and lectures to their students. And let's also admit that if the teacher is teaching in Hindi medium, which means the teacher will be well proficient in the Hindi medium, but then he would not be well proficient in the English medium. So for this teacher to update his own knowledge base, for this teacher to update his own content, for this teacher to deliver the updated content effectively to his teachers, It would require this teacher to consume content in English, which he won't be in a position to do because he or she is not proficient in the English language. So who is at an advantage? English medium aspirants. Why? Because they are taught by the English medium teachers and they consume English content and they research a lot of content which is predominantly available in the English medium. Last but not the least, CSAT. There was a time you would know that if you were strong in CSAT, because CSAT marks would be counted in the prelims examination, you only had to focus on CSAT, get 60-70 marks in GS, and you will crack the prelims examination because you will score 180, 190 in CSAT. That is why there was a furore when CSAT was launched. There were a series of protests as well that the introduction of CSAT has tilted balance in favor of the English medium aspirants. Even with CSAT becoming qualifying in nature, there are still hundreds and thousands of candidates who struggle to even score the qualifying marks in CSAT. There also, the advantage is for English medium civil services aspirants, because in CSAT, a big portion is on English comprehension. And if you are proficient in English, which means you are attending lectures in English, you are reading newspapers in English, you are reading books in English, you are reading current affairs magazines in English, your English will improve, your comprehension will improve, your CSAT will improve, you will be able to easily qualify CSAT and focus on general studies. These are 5 important reasons why English medium aspirants are at an advantage. But you are only at an advantage. Then what you need structured learning. What you need, discipline. What you need, a well-defined schedule, because of which you will be in a position to complete the syllabus well ahead of time. And for that, I have 3 words of advice for all of you. First, please focus on the syllabus. Muhammad Ali, the famous heavyweight boxer, once said, "I hated every minute of my training, but I told myself, suffer now and live the rest of the life like a champion." And he did it. So for the next 2 years or next 2.5 years, you will have to sacrifice a lot. Less time on social events, less time on social media, more focus on your syllabus. But then this is worth it, because once you crack this examination, then stars and sky is the limit. And for that, please focus on syllabus, because the civil services aspirants, most of them, they neglect the 2 most important documents released by UPSC. Which are these? The first is the syllabus, the second, previous year's question papers. Does UPSC recommend that you should read the Hindu and the Indian Express? No. Does UPSC recommend that you should go through the NCERTs? No. Does UPSC recommend that you should read Lakshmikant or Rajiv Ahir or other sets of books? No. UPSC does not recommend any book, any magazine, any newspaper. But UPSC releases 2 very important documents. The first is the syllabus. And by going through the syllabus, by understanding the syllabus, you will get an answer to the most important question, which is what to study. And by looking at the syllabus, you will find an answer. I have to study geography, history, polity, international relations, disaster management, ethics, integrity and aptitude, internal security, environment and ecology, economics, so on and so forth. But that's only one part, what to study. But how to study polity? How to study economics? How to study all these important topics and subtopics that are mentioned in the syllabus? For that, go through previous year's question papers, because these previous year's question papers will tell you how to study. These previous year's question papers will also tell you how to anticipate questions that can be asked in the examination. So what are you trying to say? How to study if you are preparing for one-day exams or state civil services exam, you may be asked about how many schedules are mentioned in the Indian Constitution. 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 is the right answer. But if you're preparing for the civil services exam, you may be asked a detailed question about one schedule. For example, anti-defection law. What are the problems with this law? What are the amendments that we need to make this law better? How do we know this? By looking at previous year's question papers. Because previous year's question papers will tell you how to study. If you are preparing for one-day exams, various government exams, you may be asked about who were the important leaders who participated in the revolt of 1857. Who was the leader in Bihar? Who was the leader in Ara? Who was the leader in some other areas where the revolt of 1857 took place? But for the civil services exam, you may be asked, revolt of 1857 was the first war of India's independence. Critically analyze. Was it really the first war for India's independence? Or was it some disgruntled men and women who were fighting against the British Empire for their own self-interest? I'm not suggesting that they were doing this. I'm just saying that there are various viewpoints on this specific topic. So you have to write both the arguments. How do we know that? By looking at previous year's question papers. And by looking at previous year's question papers, you will be in a position to anticipate questions that can be asked. For example, in 2023 prelims, a question was asked on Official Secrets Act. Why? Because this act was passed in 1923. The question was asked in 2023, 100 years, 100th anniversary. This becomes an important milestone for UPSC. They had to ask a question on Official Secrets Act because in 2023, this act completed 100 years of its existence. There was a question asked on Chaussat Yogini Temple, which is in Morena in Madhya Pradesh. Why this question was asked? Because it is circular in shape in architecture. And it is considered that this Chaussat Yogini Temple was the inspiration for the old Parliament building. And that old Parliament building was to be replaced by a new Parliament building. That's why it was in the news, and that is why this question was asked. The question in this year's prelims exam was asked on Red Sea. Why? Because of the crisis in the Middle East, where Houthis, a terrorist organization, would block the Red Sea because it is supporting Iran, because they are supporting Hamas, because there is a conflict between Hamas and Israel. So by looking at the syllabus, you will get an idea of what to study. But by looking at previous year's question papers, you will find answers to two other very important questions: how to study and how to anticipate questions that can be asked in the examination. And the third important advice that I would like to give you, that should be your focus. I interact with a lot of students and they tell me, sir, we will attend classes in bilingual medium, in English medium, a mix of Hindi and English. But we will write the exam in English. Please don't do that. Why? Because if you are attending classes in English medium, you are revising in English as well. And then you have to write the exam in English. At the time you are writing these answers, maybe the way teachers spoke about this topic will echo in your mind, and same language, same statements, same words you will reproduce in your answer. It becomes easier for you to write a better, well-structured answer if you are writing the answers in English, but you should be preparing in English as well. You should be attending classes in English as well. Do not attend classes in bilingual medium, in English medium, if your focus, if you're writing the exam in the English medium. That's the most important advice that I can give you. And that brings us to the closure of this video, a very short video on why English medium civil services aspirants are at an advantage as compared to the Hindi medium aspirants. But unfortunately, it is not the fault of the Hindi medium aspirants, fortunately or unfortunately, the fault lies somewhere else. The buck stops at the teachers who teach Hindi medium students. If you like the content of this video, please consider subscribing to our channel and like this video, drop in your comments. Till then, have a great time. All the best. Bye-bye.